over 10 years ago, 12 to be exact, a friend of mine took me into Manhattan to try out some awesome halal food. Now, at that time, I'm like, where is he taking me? Maybe a fancy restaurant. We ended up at a street corner, okay, 53rd and 6th, right? Most of you know this, right? Halal guys?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So, we ended up there, and first time I had it, I mean, like, it is something, like, I mean, it's from heaven, right? So it's like, I'm just like, wow, this is awesome food, you know? We're having chicken, we're having gyro, rice, topped with some creamy white sauce, and a little bit of that hot sauce, because, you know, it's pretty spicy for those of you who witnessed that. But, you know, obviously things have changed now. I have a different opinion on it, but it's still good that there are better carts out there. And that's kind of how it started, my quest to find other halal food throughout the country. But, I mean, this platter, and that's what we started calling it, this platter was so amazing that I introduced it to my younger brother. And he goes, yeah, man, we got to go to the city and actually get it fresh, because I brought back an extra platter from him that night. So the next day, we ate a little bit of food from my mom's cooking. You know, she made dinner. She's like, oh, come on, you know. We're like, yeah, we're going to eat a little and, you know, save an appetite for later, right? So our midnight snack was platter. So what did we do? Now, we don't want to, like, offend my mom or insult her. So we would wait till midnight, because this place is open till 4 a.m., right? It's popping. So we waited till like midnight. They're fast asleep. Jump in the car, turn it on, but not start it. Put into neutral, push it out, the driveway. All right? Then start it, and bam, we're out like lightning. 30 minutes, we're at 53rd and 6th, indulging in this halal goodness. So, you know, obviously, eating too much of anything, you get sick of it, right? So now it's like, right, we're going to try to go find some other halal food. But I want to talk about, my topic is unity through halal food, right? So first we're going to talk about food in general. Obviously it's necessary to eat in order for us to live, but many will argue that I live to eat. Just follow my Instagram. So now, I mean, food has become so popular. If you know, I think any given household watches Food Network, like especially Muslims. I think we're big on food as an ummah, and you know, even culturally, we have different type of cuisines that are being highlighted on Food Network. So most people, you know, a lot more people are watching Food Network as a form of entertainment. They are watching to learn how to cook, but I don't think people are actually cooking. They're just watching it, and they're also watching to find out like great places to eat. You know, it could be food or desserts, what have you. Now, some of my favorite shows, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, Guy Fieri, that's who I kind of put Samir's Eats here. So, a lot of us are watching the Food Network religiously, and you know, one thing I noticed that there's nothing highlighting halal food, or like even just a culture. I mean, there's a one Indian girl, Artie's Party or whatever, but you know, I mean, that's fine. I think she cooks vegan anyway, but I'm a carnivore. So there's nothing really showcasing halal cuisine, and that's kind of where I'm like, you know what? We have so many viewers. I mean, just to give you some facts, in the world we have between 1.6 billion to 2 billion Muslims, right? And about a few million of them living in the United States. And out of those, how many are watching Food Network or are interested in food? So this is like a gap that needs to be, you know, met, and I think, you know, halal is the solution, and showcasing halal. Now, Zabiya, halal, that food is necessary for Muslims to enjoy good food while, you know, observing our Islamic principles. And what is halal? You know, I mean, we could get into a debate of what halal is and what your opinions are, but I'm just going to keep it general. We're talking about animals being raised properly, free of hormones, impurities, and being slaughtered according to Islamic, you know, the Biha method. So now, what's going on in the halal industry right now? We have multiple companies who have stepped up, like mainstream companies, Muslim, you know, halal companies that have stepped up, and they're providing halal food through major grocery chains. Some of you may be familiar with Crescent. Have you heard of Crescent? Crescent Foods, chicken? Okay. They're supplying through Walmart. You may have heard of Saffron Roads. They're being distributed through Whole Foods. Actually, a quick fact about Saffron Road. The CEO at Nandarani reported that their product was the #1 selling product out of the frozen food section in Whole Foods. So I think that's a great stride as a Muslim company, as a halal company, to actually be superior out in the frozen food section. And I think there was another fact, what was it? On Eid, there was over 600% increase in growth or revenue.
In Ramadan.
In Ramadan? Okay. So throughout Ramadan, so these things are great. And there's another company, Miramar, you may have heard of. They're being sold through Papmar. And OBE Organic, they're a beef company. Halal is a beef company out of Australia, being sold through Fairway Markets, if any of you are familiar with Fairway. So why am I telling you this? I think we're making strides. We're making strides to meet that gap, to bridge our type of food, halal, okay, into the mainstream. So now, how do we bring unity through that? Well, the evidence of unity through halal food is clear. It's right on the streets of New York. If you go to any given halal cart out there, you'll see people of different races, different religions, different backgrounds eating chicken and rice, or they call it the halal. Hey man, let's go for some halal. To them, halal is just eating street meat, or a platter. And that's just a misconception. And what I try to do here with Samir's Eats, we're highlighting other halal cuisines to let the world know that, hey, there are other halal restaurants, there are different cuisines, but just because it's halal, doesn't mean it has to be, just a platter. So we highlight different halal Chinese, halal, Indian, obviously Pakistani, Arab, halal Thai. There's a number of different halal restaurants. So anyway, even my coworkers, I work full time. I work for JP Morgan, and they wonder, like, why do you drive 15 minutes to go get lunch when you could get a Chinese food right here? I'm like, well, because I have to, eat halal, and I explain to them what it is. So one day, I actually treated everybody to halal Chinese, and they thought it was like amazing. They're like, wow, I could really taste that halal, man. Yeah. So next time you go, make sure you're picking us up some food. I'm like, all right, no problem. So we have the show, Halal Food Tour. The other project that we're doing, we're uniting people, throughout those events. We travel around the country. We've been to Los Angeles. We've been to Chicago, New York, New Jersey. We had one here. We're headed to Houston in December, right, Hira? So we'll see you there. So what we're doing is bringing people together, Muslims and non-Muslims. We've had plenty of non-Muslims come. Like, we've had neighbors that hear the noise and they walk in and they're like, wow, this is great. Wow, halal, okay, great. What is it? And then what? It's a form of dawah. It's bringing non-Muslims, are opening the eyes. And food is something that it's a conversation starter. So once you talk about food, good food, you got people talking. So now going into sort of the issues out in the mainstream with just food in general. Okay, the public is demanding transparency. Okay, see, I don't know if you heard about seafood that was being raised on pork or not on pig feces. You heard the story? Yeah. There was seafood. What was it? Salmon? Okay, it was fish. Tilapia. Okay, so it was fish that was being raised on pig feces. That's disgusting. To anybody. For Muslims, but just the whole public. And then 2 days ago, there was an article about fake beef. It was actually pork being seasoned with some additives, making it look like in China. I know they bootleg stuff on Chinatown, but now they're bootlegging beef. So man, they're all over. But anyway, so that's halal could bridge that gap, because halal is all about transparency. Some of these companies I've mentioned before, they're very transparent. You could visit their factory, see where they're raising their animals. They're being treated, humanely, and they're not being fed any weird steroids or anything like that. That's kind of where halal could bridge that gap. And we have some work to do as Muslims. Getting rid of any stereotypes, debunking any of those myths. There's some myths out there that halal is voodoo, like they do voodoo on the meat, and that's what makes it better. But that's obviously not the case. And there's another myth: halal food isn't clean. Well, they see in New York, they think, it's streaming, but you know what? It's actually popular. And the slaughter is barbaric. I mean, it's not barbaric. It's actually one of the best ways that an animal can get sacrificed. Swift blade, and but we have those issues to work on, and it's just educating the people, and that's all. All right.